My name is Connie Putnam. I own Connie's Bath Shack out at Old Town Spring. We make soaps, lotion, creams, salts, salt scrubs, and any number of bath products. We welcome you to come out anytime and see us. But today we are going to make handmade soap. We make soap the old-fashioned way with sodium hydroxide and oils. The process of making soap is called saponification. Say that 3 times real fast and see what you come up with. Saponification charts can be found online at any number of places, or you can go online and find good recipes to use. Today we're making 19 bars of soap using the sodium hydroxide, and we'll be making lavender soap. It's summer and the flowers are blooming, and I thought we should make something very floral. And lavender is a fun bar to make. Soap recipes are always measured by weight, never by volume. Everything has to be weighed. Okay, so we're getting ready to make soap. And before we make soap, we always wear our gloves. We never make soap without gloves. 1, we're making it with lye, don't ever forget that. And 2, it's just really oily, and we need to be able to take that oil off and dump it in the trash. And 2, before we start, we clean everything. We want to make sure we don't have any leftover bacon grease from breakfast. So we take our containers and I've already done this, by the way, so I'm just going to do a cursory for you. We take all of our spoons that we might use, our spatulas that we might use, and we clean them with Clorox wipes, which these Clorox wipes have also got alcohol in them because we want them to be really sanitized. Okay, now we're ready to make soap. Okay. This is a container that I buy at Ace Restaurant Supply. You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy anything on Amazon. Make sure that the volume of the container you buy is large enough for your entire batch of soap. Now I use much bigger in most of my soap batches, and this one is made by Rubbermaid. Rubbermaid makes great products, and it's excellent for soap. We don't do this on the stove. 1, you have to have stainless steel. If you're going to use metal, you have to have stainless steel. You cannot have any other metal. And to heat your oil on the stove, you take the chance of burning your oils. And once you burn your oils, you might as well just throw them away and start all over, because there's nothing you can do. Okay, we're going to start out with 3 ounces of castor oil, but before we do that, we tar out our machine. We always have to start at 0 when we're adding any kind of oils. So we're going to add 3 ounces of oils. Okay, we got 3 ounces of castor oil. Now we're going to do our shea butter. I use shea butter in every recipe I make. I just love shea butter. Shea butter is going to be hard for you to find, so we're only going to use 1 ounce. So you can probably find pure shea butter at any drugstore in 1 ounce increments. We're going to hit tar again. We hit tar between every addition. We're going to put 1 ounce.
That's a lot for 1 ounce.
Well, everybody thinks shea butter actually weighs a lot, but it's not. It's really pretty airy. So that is exactly 1 ounce. And I'm going to just kind of slide that in there as well. Okay, our next ingredient is coconut oil, and I'm going to tar out our machine again. We buy our coconut oil in 200 pounds at a time, so you're not going to want to buy 200 pounds of oil. But I found this at Costco. It makes wonderful soap. It feels and acts just like the coconut oil we use, and it's priced very similar to what I pay for 200 pounds, price per ounce. So we're going to use 40 ounces. We're tarred out.
That's a lot of 40 ounces is a lot.
Yes, 40 ounces is a lot. The number 1 and 2 ingredients in our soap recipes is coconut oil and olive oil. Here we go, 40 exactly. Coconut oil and olive oil makes a wonderful bar of soap. All coconut oil does not. All olive oil does not. But the two of them together make a wonderful soap. And then we're going to add things like avocado oil and shea butter that just make for moisturizing, and the castor oil just increases the suds. So, okay, we're going to put this in the microwave right now because we're done with the solid oils. This takes about 3 minutes, so I'll be right back. Unfortunately, I don't have a microwave that's portable, so it's over my stove. So we can do some question and answers right now while we're waiting. You in the back row, big curly hair. Yes?
I see you keep looking at a recipe. Don't you have it memorized yet?
Yes, I do have all my recipes memorized, but I always look at a recipe. I've made hundreds, probably thousands of recipes of soap, but I don't want to leave anything out. If you leave something out and you pour your soap and you look at the recipe and you go, oh gosh, I forgot the castor oil, this soap is going to be lye heavy. It's not going to be usable. So we need to always do our recipe. Also, if you do that, let me tell you how to fix that. You take your batch, you get out your old crock pot, you pour everything in there and put whatever you left out and anything else that you might actually want to put in, like oatmeal or any kind of botanicals. You turn it on low and you cook it for almost a day. This is called hot process. I don't usually do hot process. If you see any of my soaps in my shop that are hot process, it's because I forgot something. And you can add milk, add goat's milk and cow's milk to it and cook it for about an hour, and then when it's just very, very creamy, it continues to evaporate, so you might have to continue to add milk all through the day. You stir it about every hour, you pour it in your mold, and you have not lost that bar of soap, or that batch of soap. Okay, any other questions?
So you said lye heavy. What does that mean?
Well, because soap is an exact science. If you leave a product out, then you're going to have more lye than what that recipe needs. Which actually, today, we know so much about measuring our lye and our oils. It probably wouldn't hurt. It'd just be a really deep cleanser. Somebody with sensitive skin might feel that, but most of us wouldn't know the difference.
So you talked about putting oatmeal and botanicals in your soap. Can you put anything in your soap like that?
Just almost anything. Make sure that the oatmeal is ground up fine, because whole oatmeal rubbing on your body, it hurts. So grind up any of your botanicals. I grind up chamomile, I grind up dried peppermint, apricot seeds, but you really need them really, really ground. You add them to your mixture right before you add the scent. Okay, our oils are melted. Let me get them. Okay, we have melted oils here. Next, we're going to add avocado oil, because we're making avocado soap. If you use too much avocado oil, you're going to have a really soft bar of soap, and we don't want to do that. So we're only using, let's see, we are using 5 ounces of avocado. Now we're going to tar out our machine and put in 5 ounces. We buy our avocado oil at Sam's or Costco. Next, our olive oil at Costco and Sam's. This is the Costco brand. We're going to tar and add 40 ounces.
Can you use vegetable shortening instead of olive oil?
You can, but there's a difference in the saponification of olive oil and shortening. And if you're going to use shortening, you have to make sure you use Crisco. No other shortening we guarantee that they don't have any additives in it. So many of them put other things in besides hydrogenated oil. So use only Crisco. And there's several recipes online using Crisco. You can use whatever oils you want. You just have to make sure that the majority of the oils you use are solid at room temperature, except for olive oil. Olive oil is the only oil that you can make 100% bar of olive oil and have a nice hard bar. You're not going to have as nice a lather as if you put the others in, but it'll make a nice hard bar. You cannot make a bar, a batch of soap with all almond oil or avocado oil or castor oil. That would be awful. So remember, you need to have a small amount of liquid oils, except for olive oil, and the rest solid room temperature. That's why we use so much coconut oil as well. Okay, we ready to get rid of the scales here. By the way, I have a topping on my table that is a felt and rubber table protector that protects against high heat, and I use it every time I make any Bath and Body product because I pay a lot of money for my furniture and I don't want to use it because I love my hobby. Okay, I'm going to get this out of the way. And we're going to talk about molds. This is a mold that I got from Michael's. It holds about 3 pounds of soap, not quite, and it makes a bar like this. You would cut these bars 1-inch increments and you would have about 10 bars here. I have another mold like this, silicone molds. Silicone molds make wonderful soap molds and pretty little bars. We are going to sell these as children's soap, for baby soap, because it's very pure and good soaps. Then there's silicone that are fun and funky. You can just add almost anything. Can you see that? These are dinosaurs. They were upside down dinosaurs. And these little things. These you can buy at any grocery store, dollar store. They have a lid, because when we're done, we always put a lid on our soap. And these make nice little individual bars of soap. We're going to do this with ours. We're going to make 18 bars. You can buy these soap molds on Etsy, a place called Brambleberry, or you can just do a search for soap molds online. Okay, we're ready to put our lye. This is, I made this lye water yesterday because lye water gets really, really hot when you make it. The reaction between the lye and the water makes it very hot, and I always make my lye water 1 day ahead of time. When I make it, I have a gas mask on, and everybody in the room has to leave. And because I have my director/daughter here, we made this ahead of time so we wouldn't have to worry about whether or not she would have to leave the room, and I direct myself. Okay, I always put on top of my lye water how much water is in here, how much lye is in here. I never want to get the wrong batch with the wrong oils, so always make good notes to yourself.
Where do you get your lye?
Okay, I get my lye from a chemical company, but I buy, again, 200 pounds at a time. There is a lye that you can buy that is a drain cleaner. You get it at Lowe's. I have personally not used this lye, but several of my friends who make small batches of lye tell me that it does great. It is 100% sodium hydroxide. Do not use any other drain cleaner than this. Drain cleaners put little pieces of iron and metals in their drain cleaners to help push through the sediment when they're cleaning the pipe. So this is the only one that I know of that is 100% sodium hydroxide. Okay. Getting ready to pour this in here. And I just pour it all in at once. Some people say you should slowly pour it in. Why? It's not going anyplace right off the bat. So make sure you get all that wonderful lye water out of there. And then you have to use a immersion blender. Make sure you use one that comes in 2 pieces. I have behind me any number of good choices. Some of them are really cheap. You can buy at Kohl's. Some of them cost a little bit more, like the KitchenAid and the Cuisinart. They all work about the same. So we want to stir, stir, stir.
Why?
Well, we want it to look like pudding. When it starts looking like pudding, then we're going to stop and put some other things in it. Okay, right now I'm going to stop and add some sodium. Right now I'm going to stop and add some titanium dioxide. Titanium dioxide is a naturally occurring mineral in the Earth's crust. It's a natural product, and we want this soap to be white. You add it before you get too far along in your process here. You want it to have time for all of that dioxide to get melted into the oils. And now this looks lighter, but you won't be able to tell how white it is until after the soap has actually gone through its process, and it'll be nice and pretty and white.
So it's not white now, but it will be when you're done.
Yes.
How much did you put in?
I put in like for a big big teaspoon, overflowing teaspoon. Okay. Also, now I have this cutesy little box here that I use as my spoon rest, so we don't get soap all over everything.
There's no coughing in soap making.
I know there isn't, but sometimes I just do that. Okay, now we're going to add our scent. I am using French lavender oil. I buy my oils by the pound. French lavender oil is very expensive. You can buy Bulgarian lavender or 40-something lavender, I'm not even sure what that is, but they don't, any of them smell like French lavender. This particular lavender is almost $100 a pound, but it is so worth it. We are using a little over 3 ounces. Essential oils, we usually use about ½ an ounce per pound of oil. And while we've got 5 pounds of oil going on right here, lavender is a light scent, so I use a little bit more. So this is somewhere between 3 and 4 ounces. Now we're going to put that all in together again. Don't do it slowly. Get it in there so you can start mixing. And we want to mix, mix, mix on this for just a minute.
How do you know when it's done?
I'm going to show you, but we're not there yet. So, Oh my goodness, that smells so good. I wish you could smell this. There is nothing like the smell of French lavender. Okay, now we're going to divide these. We are doing this before we reach trace. Trace is where you can see where your blender or your spatula has gone, which is when you decide when you need to pour. But we're going to add some lavender. Here again, we are using mica, which is another naturally occurring mineral in the Earth's crust. We get this from, I'm going to use about that much in this batch, just a tiny bit more. We use this from brambleberry because brambleberry is, most of theirs are natural. They don't add any other colors to it. When you're looking for micas, make sure you look to see if they've added any other products to it. And adding color speeds up the process. See, that's why we cover the table. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to go back. It's okay that this has got lavender on it because this is a big batch and it's not even going to make a dent in the color of it. We're going to get this till it's also shows you where you've been when you're stirring it. I think we can probably talk my daughter slash director slash videographer to put a little coupon of some in with the instructions up there, so that if you want to come into the shop afterwards, you can come in and get something with a little less money. Okay, I'm stirring this by hand because I don't want it to get too thick too fast, because it's going to look like pudding. I love this process. I love the process when you can see it start making soap. Okay, and this one is ready too, and what we are going to do is just pour this right into this. Go up, go down, go up, because you want it on the bottom, on the top.
Why?
So it's evenly distributed in this white. We are not going to mix this together at all. I love these little spoons. I get them at Bed Bath & Beyond. They're just wonderful for the small batches. Spoonulous, I guess is what they're called. Okay, and we've got this in there, and we're going to do 2 swipes. We are now ready to pour.
Oh my, that's beautiful.
Isn't that pretty?
It does look like a cake.
And we're going to take 2 of these steak skewers, and we're going to make just pretty designs on top.
Why?
Because it's pretty.
Do you have to do that?
Absolutely not.
But should you?
Makes no difference. If you want boring, don't do it. I don't like boring. Ever do I like boring. So.
It's a perfect amount for that mold.
It is. Well, that's because it's an 18-pound mold. And now our recipe that you're going to see says it's for 20 pounds, but I made these go, for 20 bars. I made this go all the way up to the edge. If you wanted smaller bars, then you'd do an 18 exact recipe. Isn't that pretty?
That is very pretty.
And then we have a little bit left over, and I'm going to do a couple, maybe just one of these baby bars. And we're going to put a little dash of just the lavender on top. Do a little swirl, and doesn't that look cute? Again, see, I'm messy. That's why we use the protector on your table.
And why you use gloves.
And why you use gloves. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. I haven't had to stop and spray myself with.
Now, is the soap safe right now to use?
It is not. This is going to be, we call it putting it to bed. We put a top on it. We let it set overnight. And during that overnight process is when it goes through a saponification process, and it gets really, really hot, like 180, 90 degree hot. And it turns to something that looks like jelly. It's really quite pretty.
So I can't go use this right now?
No, and you can't use it tomorrow either. Tomorrow or the next day, you will take these out of the molds, and then you will set them in a box without a lid. A box is lined with, I never mentioned the lining of our molds. Always line wooden or plexiglass with paper, butcher block paper that's waxy on one side. Put this paper in the bottom of the box, set your bars up, and let them set for 2 to 4 weeks. At the end of 3 weeks, maybe you can use it, but if you stick it to your tongue and it goes, you can't use it yet. Okay, now this.
But you unmold it in a couple of days.
Yeah, because it needs to dry out on all sides. So you need to take it out of the mold within a couple of days. And we're going to, this is called putting it to bed. We're going to put a towel over it so it can get nice and warm, and we're going to put it in our soap room. And this will go in the soap room as well, with a little towel over it as well. And then the time to clean these up is now. You do not want to wait until the soap is made soap on your containers, because it's really hard to get off. I have read places where people say you use only soap containers. You don't use your containers for anything else but soap. Well, I got a dishwasher. I wash these in the dishwasher. I rinse them first, I wash them in the dishwasher, and then I have no problem putting my Jell-O for a Sunday afternoon in here at all. So you can do like you like on that. Okay, that's it for our soap making experience today. If you have any questions, you're welcome to call the store. I don't work but weekends these days because I'm home making product almost every day. But somebody will answer, and we'll get back to you to answer the question you have, or look online. Are the products that we have, our look online are the information we have and our QR code, because if you read that, it'll answer a lot of questions.
How about Facebook?
Oh, like us on Facebook. It's Connie's Bass Shack without an apostrophe. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope you enjoy making your small batch of soap. Bye.